how do you evaluate all of the defensive backs in this grouping right here? Because how you view Lattimore and the guys that you just mentioned may play into whether we see, when, obviously Jonathan Allen in the mix and Myles Garrett in the mix, whether we do see a quarterback taken in the top 5, leaving the entire quarterback universe available for either the Jets or the Chargers to take. And then we could continue further on to see, whether Trubisky or Watson could make it down to 12 for the Browns, Albert.
Yeah, and I think the way that the teams that need quarterbacks are looking at it is the first real pressure point is 10, where there's a belief at least that Buffalo is very serious about taking a quarterback. And it's probably Trubisky first and then Watson second, but the idea is that they would take one of those guys off the board. And so if you want to have your pick of the quarterbacks, at least the perception right now is that you got to get up over the Buffalo Bills to do it. And so the Browns are one team at 12 that want to come away from this draft with a quarterback, and I think that the potential is there for them to trade up with, say, the Titans at 5, the Jets at 6, even the Panthers at 8. There are lots of teams looking to bail out of the top 10. The question then becomes how far up they're going to have to go. And so I think that that's the first real pressure point is the 10th pick, where teams feel like pretty certain you're going to need to get above 10 to have your pick of the quarterbacks. And then, to me, the team above that's really kind of the mystery team here, and what they're going to do is the Jacksonville Jaguars at 4. From what I've heard, the Jaguars really do like Deshaun Watson. Now, the question becomes whether or not that affection has been as outward as it's been to scare Blake Bortles, or because they genuinely are thinking about taking him with the 4th overall pick over somebody like, say, Leonard Fournette. And so there's a lot of mystery with the top quarterbacks, and I think going into Thursday night, there are still lots of questions that have to be answered, and as is the case every year, Rich, there is a big shell game going on out there.
So, is there any chance the Browns take one last run at Garoppolo with the ultimate offer that can't be refused by Bill Belichick?
Well, I think they're going to use the 12th pick to try as a chip to try and get a quarterback. That's been the idea all along. I mean, this is something they talked about, in November and December. The idea of using the Raiders model from 2014, where you get the generational defensive player first overall, and then with the 12th overall pick, you use that as a chip to go get your quarterback, the same way the Raiders used their second pick in 2014 to get Derek Carr. The potential that Garoppolo is going to be available. I think that they'll make the phone call and ask. The same way I think they'll make the phone call to the Cincinnati Bengals and ask about A.J. McCarron. I think the real question with the Browns is when the price, it manifests itself to be too high for Garoppolo and too high for McCarron, whether or not they, panic and use the first overall pick on Mitch Trubisky. So I think the football people in that building are of a mind that we should take Myles Garrett first overall. And, we should do what we can to be aggressive with the 12th overall pick to try and get Mitch Trubisky. But in the end, we shouldn't pass up a generational type talent who's got a premium skill as a pass rusher and overextend ourselves for a quarterback who, maybe we like quite a bit, but we don't quite love the same way the Rams loved Jared Goff last year, or the Eagles Carson Wentz last year.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.